Hey, Jamie. Okay, I'm hoping this will work. Hello, hello, everyone. When you pop on, give me a shout below. Click that share button for me. And we'll go ahead and get started. So make sure you get that share button for me. Give me a shout. And we're going to go dark. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. Oh! Hey, Renee, how are you? Oh, goodness gracious. How are you? How's everything going? I'm just using my BB brew right now. I do have my primer on, so I'm just going to get all this worked in while I'm waiting for you guys to pop on. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Let's see. This should work. I have a few of them. Hello, hello. When you pop on, shout hello below. Give me a share. Tell me how your day is. Okay. So, I am going to show you a dark palette. I've had a few people recently ask me how to do a dark palette. So hence the dark and twisty. We're going to be dark and twisty today. Dark and twisty. Any of you guys that watch Grey's Anatomy know exactly what I'm talking about. So this palette is no longer available. But this is the only dark one that I have. So when I show it to you, you'll see what I'm talking about. So it will kind of give you an idea of how to get everything on there, okay? So okay, so here is the anniversary palette. It's a very gorgeous, glittery, amazing palette. It came out as limited edition in November for our 7th anniversary. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly what anniversary it was. But this was only available in November. But as you can see, it is very dark based. It is a very dark based palette. And I will show you a swatch just to kind of give you an idea. So it is like a black undertone. Hey Emily, I just got started, so you're not as late as you think. So if you don't play this right, it will, that's all you will see is that dark or that black. So there's two things that you can do to make sure that you can get it. You can either play it down and put a light color on your base, and then do Hey Susan, and then do it that way. Or you can go, like for this one, you can go by color, okay? So if you want to use the gold, use your base color as like a gold or a yellow, and it will bring out that glitter. So you won't really see the black undertone, but more the yellow. Does that make sense? So for instance, if I can find it, yep, first one I picked up. So for instance, since I used the gold as my example, I'm going to take Treasured and I'm going to put a swatch on it. Thank you, Susan, right here. So there's the swatch on my hand. And this is how it will look on my eye too, but I want you guys to see the difference, okay? So I'm going to put it right next to each other, so you can see the difference of how it will look on your eyes, okay? So I'm going to use Enthusiastic, which is this one on the end, okay? So it has a gold undertone. Another thing that you want to remember is when it's this kind of glitter like this, the best way to do it is to pat, not swipe. If you swipe, all that sparkle goodness will go away. So see the swatch right there? And we'll just pat on top. Okay? So you can still see that gold, but that dark undertone is not as bad. I'm sorry, Emily. I know it can be difficult. Word of mouth is bad, especially if it's bad word of mouth. Okay, so there, can you guys see it? You can still see the black undertone, but that gold really brings out that glitter compared to if you just put it right next to it. See how it just looks black? So the best thing with these is to actually bring the color that you're wanting out. If you pull it out, it will be easier to see, but also kind of tone down that undertone. Okay, so that's what we're going for tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I have to find it, sorry guys. Okay. I know that they're there. I know they're here somewhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Mysterious as my base, which is kind of like a red, okay? Now this is not as light as I was describing, but I don't want my eyes to be completely light. That's why I'm not going light, okay? But this will pull out, it will show you how to kind of use this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put Mysterious on my lid, okay? And I'm going to make sure I get it in the crease and really go on as much of my lid as I can without making that color too dark. Because I don't want to put too much dark, because then it's going to only pull the dark, okay? So I'm going to do the same on this side. And I'm just kind of outlining my lid, because if you kind of outline it, it will make that your eyes stand out a little more. So it's better to kind of outline it, okay? Okay. Then what I'm also going to do, have this color out, is I'm going to take a little bit of it, and I am going to go about halfway, and I'll tell you why in just a second, okay? Okay. So I want to use that base color as the liner underneath so that it will pull more of that color too. Okay, so when people look at your eyes, they are drawn to that color. So if you make sure that the color is what stands out, then that is what people are going to notice. So then what I'm going to do is I'm unashamed, this one right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of patting it, okay, and then I'm just going to kind of pat it over top of the splurge shadow, just to kind of give it a little darker, but not much, okay, because I'm going to use this more for my transition color than anything. Then best tip that I have found for palettes like this that are glittery and kind of dark undertone, and I'm going to go back to enthusiastic, okay, is take a sponge end. I can't remember what they're actually called, but the spongy type ends instead of the brush, actual brush. And what you're going to do is just pat it on it, okay? And if you can see it, you can kind of see the bottom of it. Like I said, with this, with the glitter and the undertone and all that, you want to get more of the glitter than the undertone, if that makes sense. So see there, and this is just me kind of patting it, okay? And then what I'm going to do, hey Trisha, how are you, is I'm going to just kind of I knew that was going to happen. I'm okay. How's the new job? Oh my goodness gracious. So this is a way that you can, OMG guys. I'm literally getting it all. And it shows you how pigmented these palettes are. I look like I have a black eye now. Again, that's why I always say, this is why you do your foundation and stuff last. And I never listen. Good, I'm so glad. No, if I can't, there it is, okay. And the darker palettes are good for like a smoky eye, but you can get them to lighten up. I still didn't do like a light color, so it's not going to really pull too light, if that makes sense. Because this is kind of the look I was going for. Then what you want to do is take, I don't have a good one, obviously, a blending brush, okay, and just kind of, again, you don't want to over blend ones like this, because then you lose the color. So you just kind of want to pat a little just to get those lines gone, and then that's where it should stop, okay? Hey Jennifer, how are you? How was your birthday? Right? Smoky eyes are good if you know how to do them, which I don't really, so. That's alright though. It's trial and error. Okay. Then what you could also do, if you do have like a palette like this, is your highlighting color. You can also use that as a base to really bring out those colors too. Like I said, the biggest thing that I would suggest with ones like this is to make sure that you're not over blending, so that you're getting rid of all that gorgeous sparkle. But at the same time, you're not only looking at it as you can't do it. Okay, and then I'm going to take Devoted here. Remember how I put Mysterious halfway? I'm going to put Devoted on the other side. Because I don't really want to use the black. So the gray is a good in-between, okay? And then you just take and blend it just a little. Again, you don't want to over blend with this. And if you want a little more glitter out of it, just take your finger, if it's not dirty like mine, and just kind of pat it on there. And then just go to where you want the color and just pat it on. You can do it that way too. This palette is very scary, I know, for a lot of people. And I know that there's other gorgeous palettes that are like this, but don't be scared of it. Just try different things. You can do light underneath, or if you're going out or anything like that, you can use dark underneath. Just kind of play with it. That's what's so fun about doing your makeup, is you are the reins. You're the, where it goes. So if you mess up, start over. It's your own canvas. And you have to decide on how you want it to look. But another way you can, my brushes are still wet. Another way you can do it is if you have a lighter color, you can take your brush and instead of going underneath, you can kind of put it on top, and it will lighten it that way. Okay, so there's tons and tons of possibilities you can do with this. Okay, and I'll show you a different way. So this is one way that you can use it, and I'll show you the lighter colors so that you can kind of see how you can play it down a little. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to dip this a little bit back in that I have left here. And just kind of pat it back over my eyes a little. So that I can start from a clean canvas. Okay, so like I said, you can use a light color underneath. So I'm going to use the pigment that I just did, and this kind of has some glitter or shimmer to it too. So this will help bring out that glitter too. So I'm just going to use that as my base. And it's really not really a certain color. It's just a light color that will help really bring out those colors without it looking scary, since that palette is so dark. And like I said, I'm using this one, that palette, because I don't have any darker palettes, and that's pretty dark. So even though it's a dark palette, what I'm going to actually do is kind of bring it up a little so that I can use it as the highlighter too. 2 in 1 there. Since this will kind of be my finished look, okay? And then what I want to do is I'm going to take my anniversary palette, and I'm going to use Devoted right there. And I'm going to put just a little on about the middle to the corner, because that's where I'm going to put that glitter, darker one. So this will just kind of add a little more shine to it. Plus that one has some purple in it, so it will help bring out that purple as well. Okay? So I'm going to use Courageous, which is this purple here. And like I said, you don't need much because it's so dark. You just kind of pat it on. Okay? And see how that lightened up right there? It's still dark, but it's not as dark. So it lightened it up quite a bit. So if you are going for like a day look, you can definitely still use it that way. And then again, just take your blending brush, which mine's not very good, but that's alright. And just gonna work it a little bit. You don't want to over blend, but you don't want to have the lines there either, okay? And if you did want to bring it all the way over, you definitely could. So it's really up to you on how dark or light you want it to be as I put it underneath again. And totally really should take my own advice here, huh? Okay, so there's that. And then if you did lose some of the other color, you can definitely just go back over it and brighten it up a little. It won't hurt a single thing, and then it will kind of lighten up right in there too, okay? So there. So even if you have a dark, see, and it pulls that purple. So even if you have a dark palette, I know they look scary, even to me. This one's beautiful. I love it, but I'm still a little scared of it just because it's dark. It's okay though. If you find a dark palette that you're head over here heels for, get it. Try it out. Try different things. Make a day of it. Because it really will, the more that you use it, the better it will be. And usually, I know I do, I love it too. But Kudos is definitely my favorite and goes really well with that anniversary palette. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't express how much my eyelashes have grown since using this serum. Like, I never had eyelashes before. I mean, seriously, if you don't believe me that I never had eyelashes, go back and look through my pictures, even from like 2 weeks ago, a month ago. I definitely did not have eyelashes. Like, Jared and Dennis both had longer eyelashes than I did. Not kidding. Not kidding. And I'm gonna go bold tonight. I'm gonna use both. Because I'm trying to show off the Whiplash Duo, guys. I need to sell 17 of them. So if you're looking for a falsy eyelash look, I have just what you need. Or if you're like me and you didn't have any eyelashes at all, you can get Trio, and within 2 weeks to a month, you could have a lot longer eyelashes. By a lot. By a lot. And the good thing with the Whiplash Duo is that you get the Epic, and Epic is clump free. So when you put the 3D on top of it, you still don't clump. So you got beautiful long lashes without looking clumpy. Okay, so that, and then, to help kind of bring out that purple, I would use Sentimental. I know it's not the same purple, but a lot of times, whether it's the same or not, if you use one color, even if it's different shades, it will help bring those colors out. Just to make sure I get it. And if you have a lip brush, which I don't, I think I just saw, hold on. So if you have a lip brush and you have all these kind of jagged edges, if you take it and with one swoop, okay, don't pick up your fingers, just go right underneath where your line is. It will take off all those edges, so it will leave you a very clean look. So start here and just go right along your edge. Same thing on that side. So it gives you more of a defined look without having to really use too much. Hey Cynthia, how are you? Okay. So there you go. There is your dark and twisty palette without it being so dark and twisty. So it works. My best advice is if you have a dark and twisty palette, just play with it, because there are different ways that I can promise you that will help get you the shades and the look that you're going for. Okay? Thank you all for watching. If you're watching my replay, say #replay below. Click that share button for me. And as always, thank you all so much for helping me out, for always watching my lives, keeping my views up there. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.